podcast up in the world right now, you know. Say word. OnlyFans, real estate, talking in fashion, let them know what's happening. Say word. On and off the court, in the field with the sports, let them know what's up. Say word. The conversation is active, from movies to action, it's the main attraction. Say word.
Yo, another episode, the world's fastest, largest growing podcast. We in Houston, Texas. I got one of Houston's dopest legend DJs on a check-in today. My guy JQ, what's up,
What's
my
up,
man?
my brother? Man, appreciate you for having me out, my dog.
I've been trying to get you on the show through mutual people.
And it wasn't working.
And
you
it wasn't
directed.
working.
You say
Like,
it was around.
and
said, bam, I'm there.
Yo, but I'm gonna tell you how funny life is though. I was, no lie, it's easily about 12 people I reached out to try to get you on the show.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm. You know how everybody is. Yo, I got you. I'm gonna set it up. Da 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 da. And that's why I try to tell people all the time: when you want something done,
You gotta do it
just
yourself.
do it yourself.
That's what I do, man. You
Forget
know
these
saying?
Negroes.
You can't do it, man.
I love y'all, but forget y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
want to say something else, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Don't
you know
keep
what
it
I mean?
politically correct.
we got you here. I want to take it from the beginning, man. We was talking earlier, and you talked about Bryan, Texas. Let's talk about that. Being raised there, growing up there.
Yeah, man.
How the city impacted you. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
man, you know, it's like a lot of people do think I'm originally from Houston, but I'm originally from Bryan, Texas. Bryan College Station, home of Texas A&M University. Went to school there, went to college there. My DJ career started there doing college parties. I got introduced to radio. It was a radio station that opened up in my city. That my mentor, Lester Pace, that used to work for 97.9. Now he's a VP of promotions of Rock Nation. That worked for a lot of different labels during his career, mentored me, really taught me everything about radio and really just elevating my game, from throwing parties to throwing concerts. And me learning the throwing concerts part elevated me to, making relationships, because they say relationships are worth way more than money.
Fact.
That's
definitely
true.
that's definitely a fact.
That's how I got to meet all the H-Town artists.
Okay.
I was doing shows. I remember my first show was with Lil Flip.
Shout out to Flip.
Yeah, so at the time, he had I Can Do That out, and they weren't playing it in Houston yet. So he was going out to all the smaller markets and getting it played and building the buzz. So I was one of those first stations that he gave it to him because I showed him so much love. He did the first show with me, and probably like a year later, they started playing it in Houston. People in my city, because we could pick up the radio stations in Houston, they were like,
Okay.
yo, they just now playing that. It's old. I said, it's old to you, but it's not old to them. It's just getting introduced. And then I kept doing shows, man. Lil Kiki, Slim Thug, every big Houston artist, I brought them to Bryan, Texas, did shows with them. And I always told them one day I wanted to be in Houston and be on the radio, and they was like, yo, man, that would be so dope. And, it ended up happening, man, so dream came to fruition. Yeah.
I want to talk about you coming to Houston, being on the radio. Take us to that time. How did that even happen? If you want to mention the people that helped you get there, like, how did that happen?
Well, it came apart that I felt like I had accomplished everything I could do in a small market. I had did the concerts. I had mastered the college parties. I had mastered everything that you could do at a small radio station. So one day I was like, I just took a chance on faith. I jumped in my car, and I moved to Houston. I think I had about like $3,000 at the time, and found like a little apartment and everything. Well, let me take it back. Before I got the apartment, my apartment wasn't going to be ready for a month.
Wow.
But I
You had to figure it out.
Yeah, I had to figure it out. So I had got the apartment. They like, yo, here's the date. The date I told my job I was working at the radio station. I was assistant manager of the Cinemark Theater. I was a hustler, doing everything. So I was like, damn, I still got to go. So I moved. At the time, they had just opened up 24-hour fitness. They had just put those in Houston. So I went and got a membership. Memberships were cheap, like $10 a month.
Oh, damn.
Open 24 hours. So what I would do, I would sleep in my car during the day. I had a job at a newspaper to kind of, blend me. So I would go take a shower at the gym, work out, go back in the car and sleep. So I did that about 3 weeks. That fourth week, I thought I was still going to do it. The apartments called me and said, hey, your place is ready. Moved in. So, I thugged it out for 3 weeks. I was doing odd jobs at this black-owned newspaper called The Informer. At the same time, I was sneaking up to 97.9, doing intern work, but wasn't the technical per se intern, but I was doing an intern work. Shout out to my boy Walter D. That was another mentor of mine. He brought me in, and I would just file his paperwork, file his records, do all of this, man. Basically working for free up there for 2 years. Wow. And then running back and forth to my other job in the hopes, and everybody, told me I was dumb, I was stupid. Why are you doing this for free? Yada, 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 trying to discourage me. But I had a passion, like being up around these people that I grew up listening to, and to be in there, with the Mad Hatters, the J Max, to be up in there, the Def Jam Blasters and the GTs. I'm like, man, I'm in the room with these guys. So finally, after 2 years, one of the part-time on-air personalities was getting ready to move to another state, and a position came over. Also when I was interning, when they would do mix show weekends, they would do 24-hour mix show weekends. The veterans didn't want to do that 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. shift. So they would, like Walter D said, JQ would do it. So, I was mixing, so I kind of got in that way. And then finally, after 2 years, it was a couple of days before my birthday, I quit my job at the newspaper because, just some things wasn't adding up right. And I was at the station sitting in there in Walter's office. I got a call from the program director at the time, Tom Calicochi. He's like, yo, you've been putting in the work, man. I finally got a spot for you. It's a part-time on-air personality position. Do you want it? I said, hell yeah. It's a Friday. He said, I know it's Friday. It's 3 o'clock. You're probably at home. We'll just talk about it Monday. And I hung up on him. Ran down to his office. I'm here. Let's do this. What a paperwork. And he just bust out laughing. So it was like, and then it went from there, man, I started out as a part-time on-air personality and was doing mixing, filling in mixing on the mix show weekends, moved from that to having 2 shows on the weekend. Terry Thomas came in and was our new program director, kind of got mentorship from her about big market radio stations. Then I became the music director. Some years after that, I became the assistant program director. Then the biggest thing, Mad Hatter would listen to me on the weekends, and he was like, man, this guy is funny as hell. And it was an opportunity at the time where he had a girl on the show by the name of Nate that did entertainers, and when she would go on vacation, they kind of wouldn't do it. So he was like, you know what? And I was kind of making a joke to him one day. I was like, hey, man, when somebody take off, put a pimp in that thing, man. I was really bullshitting. I was like, he's like, okay, bet. He called me, hey, Nate gonna be gone next week. You in? I'm like, what? We doing what? And so, being on there with Hatter, and then, eventually probably about 5 or 6 months after that, she ended up moving on to doing some other stuff. So it was a spot open on the morning show. So I'm coming in the garage, and Hatter's like, oh, man, we lost one. But you know what? We good. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm like, what? Welcome to the show. So he put me on the show, and man, it was the greatest experience being able to work with Mad Hatter, somebody that's a legend in Houston, man, and great at radio. So to have that mentorship from him, and I worked on the morning show for 5, 6 years maybe, and then I got promoted. A spot came open on the afternoons with G-Man, another legend. You know what I'm saying? Listen to him before I moved here. So, got on the show, and we created the show, A G and a Pimp, man, and we've been rocking ever since.
The Pimparelli.
Yeah.
Who created that?
Man, so all the times when I was at the station, how I would greet people, I'd be like, what's up, pimpin'? Okay. What's up, pimpin'? Pimpin'. So then people would start greeting me, pimpin', what's up, pimpin', what's up? One day I was on the radio, and I was talking fly. I say, I'm up in there pimpin' and drippin'. Man, call me the Pimparelli. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to listen to E40 a lot. So when he was saying, Pimparelli, yeah. So I came up with the Pimparelli thing, and it just rolled to like, well, some people to this day don't call me JQ. They'll be like, Pimp.
They call you Pimp.
Or they'll be like, Pimparelli.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, pimpin', Pimp Sauce. It's like, they don't call me JQ. It'd be like Pimpin'. So when somebody said, man, I'm going to see Pimp, and they know who they coming to see, and it's been some, people trying to, with the Pimp name, but the people name know what the Pimp is, you know what I'm talking about?
That's a fact. I got you here, man, and you're one of the best at what you do. And I got to ask this question because people think, no. Listen, hold on.
Segue.
No, hold up, son. People think being on the radio is just so simple. People think holding conversations like this is so simple.
Nah.
People think like, I could just start a radio show. I could start a podcast. I could just do this. will you let the world really know what time it is?
Man,
Like,
it
seriously?
looks real easy.
Thank you.
It is not. You have to have a talent for it,
It's a fact.
and you have to put your ego to the side and be willing to be mentored for people to give you creative criticism to make you better. You know what I'm saying? It's ways you got to style. You got to know how not to talk too long, how to keep the audience engaged by talking about topics in your own words where you're not sounding like you're reporting, like you sitting like me and you talking and be like, man, such and such did this, and boom, 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 and put your own word. And then it's like an opening, a middle, and a close. And at the close, you got to come with a punchline or a banger to keep those people tuned in, after the commercial breaks and so forth, so they stay locked in with you. And that takes time and practice to learn. There's a lot of people that come in and I've had guys that, that were MCs or whatever. When I first got in, there were big MCs in Houston. Right when I first moved here and I watched this, I would think that, oh yeah, they gave them a shot and it didn't work out because they couldn't articulate on the air because it was different than the club stuff of talking on the mic, and it didn't work out, and it made them go and say, man, I got some work to do. But you be thinking it's easy and it's not.
Nah, it's definitely not easy. People call me all the time like, yo, I'm about to start a podcast. I'm like, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Like, let me know how it turns out.
And even when you do the podcast, it's like I know sometimes some people can be hateful in comments and stuff, but then it's always going to be that one person that's going to be real and be like, man, it's good, but you need to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And sometimes sometimes we'll be like, man, what you talking about? I know what I'm doing, but you got to listen to the people, that feedback to make you better. You know what I'm saying?
I get that every day. Like, my people from New York call me every day, like, listen, your posture's terrible. You doing this wrong. You doing that wrong. Every day they be on me about something. How important is it with the DJ and the artist relationship? And what I mean by that, you the DJ, I know many artists be coming to you like, yo, my man, can you play this for me? Can you do that for me? How important is it to keep that relationship right?
I know when I first came in the game, when I first started DJing, and I'm glad that I came in during that era to have a real appreciation. When I came in, you had the 12-inch vinyl, the wax. Started there, went from that to CD.
Great era, though.
Yeah, great era.
Great era.
Miss it now. The only thing I don't miss is carrying them crates around.
Yeah. I miss that, though.
You miss the carrying the crates?
I mean,
my hands had calluses and everything in my hand carrying the things.
Not to cut you off, I never carried the crates.
Okay.
I miss seeing the DJs coming with the crates.
Yeah.
I was like, and they going through it like they had it like in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
They knew what every record was. They could just go bing, 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 bing. And it's like,
man,
I miss that time.
Yeah. I miss that too, but I just don't miss the carrying it. But the DJ artist relationship is very important. During that time when you had records, when somebody went in and did a record and they took the time to press up vinyl, that they were deeply invested into the project. And it wasn't a lot of overkill. Now you can make a record in your car.
That's a fact.
And so you got hundreds of thousands of artists that think I should be here but they haven't put the work in. So the first thing I always do, when I'm in the club, I always tell people, never approach me in the club. If I'm in the club at 12 midnight, that's the wrong time to approach me. Catch me somewhere where I'm at an early gig, introduce yourself, shoot you my email, shoot me the record, and I'll critique it. I said, now it might not be today or tomorrow, might be 2 weeks, because I'm busy. I said, it could be, I just tried, so I'll be like, I'm gonna always respond back. And some people can't handle that. They be like, man, my stuff is the hottest record in the thing. And people have a misconception of what a hot record is. It ain't the time when your homeboy tells you, boom, 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 hot record. So I said, bam. So I said, give me a record. And I almost, I put myself in a position. Give me a record. Because he was aggressive. Man, I'm telling you, man, you hate. I bet that. But I got this new one. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Bam. People sat down in sections. Dance floor, the little bit of dance floor we had cleared out. And so the owner comes to me like, man, what do you do? I had to point to. I said, yeah, this guy's record. Embarrassed him. And, because he was aggressive. He got he wanted to fight with me. And see, I don't like that because I'm a cool, approachable person. I'm trying to give him game and do my job. And so he came back a couple of weeks, apologized. And so I said, let me give you an example of what reaction and having a hit record. It's a lot of records, but let's just come off the top. Dreams and Nightmares. We see the reaction, and that's what I tell artists. You know the reaction when you're in the club and Dreams and Nightmares comes on. Those records 10 years old, but it still resonates to this day because it's a hit. Yeah. I said, that's when you know you got a hit, when the whole club, not 30 people in a 2,000 person club, when a whole club is reacting, that's when you got a hit. And then DJs are start, but the DJ is part, but you got to start with DJs, playing it on their early sets and kind of build a vibe. You got social media now. You need to work your social, your YouTubes, and, out there shaking hands and kissing babies and build, because it's a lot being with an artist beyond the music. It's building relationships and, doing that kind of thing. So I think the DJ is definitely the biggest part, because we're the first line of defense of breaking records and then making it good enough for radio say, okay, we know that this record works. Let us play it because we know the audience is going to accept it.
Have you ever been in a situation where you was like, damn, this record is whack, and then it just blew up? And
oh yeah, the time. But see, here's my philosophy. When what I do now when I hear records, I'll be like, I don't like this record personally for my taste.
Okay.
But me being a DJ, I said, it's a possibility that it could possibly work.
Okay.
And I tell artists that. They be like, what you think? I say, all right, I ain't really feeling it. But I tell them, do not let that discourage you. If you feel passionate enough about this record,
you like, man, what you mean you ain't feeling it?
I'm not feeling the record. Like you got to be honest. And that's why people like me, because I'm 100 with them. And I'm like, I'm not feeling. But when I hit them with the disclaimer, but, man, that's my opinion now. You go out there, I can listen to it 10 more times and like it. I said, but if you go out there and make this record nice, it ain't about what I like. It's hot, I'm going to play it on both ends, radio and in the club. Okay, bet. Some people would just say, I've been around people that be like, I just don't like the record. And that's it. And that just, I get it. You're like, damn. But the record has something. You got to hear you got to give them a little bit more than that. You got to give them some kind of hope, because it's a lot of records we probably don't like, and we see that as some of the biggest records out there. But it's just not our personal choice. You know what I'm saying?
I get records sent to me every single day.
Golly, I know it. My inbox, I was going through this.
Yo, no lie. No lie. But it's so funny, because I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, my opinion, like you said, is I have a different. I'm a East Coast Tribe Called Quest. Roots.
Yeah,
I'm a roots type of guy.
The roots. That's what I'm listening to in the car all the time when I'm trying to decompose myself.
So that's like my type of vibe. So I want to ask you, what's JQ's type of vibe? What's your type of vibe in music?
Man, my when I'm
I know
in
you
my
brought
car,
up E40, but
when I'm in my car and stuff, and the playlist that I have on my phone, I love 90s R&B, and 90s hip hop. I like the Tupacs, the Biggies, the Jay-Z's. Love Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake. I'm playing a lot of that, and those are some names that I vibe out. But for the most part, I like to. It seemed like at some point it's starting to come back with a lot of people at one time, but this year people are doing more R&B parts. The 90s R&B was just such,
that was an era.
It was an era.
That was an era.
And so when I'm in the car all weekend and I'm DJing and I've been banging Sexy Red and Glorillaz and Boss Man D-Lo's. When I get in the car, I gotta woo-saw. So I throw on some Jodeci, you know what I'm saying, and bring myself back down, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta remember that, and that's why I always, I see some youngsters that know about records before their time, and then I be like, people, how do they know that record? I said, I bet you their parents put them on.
That's a fact.
Yeah, because that's why I love my parents. A lot of them.
My mother played Prince a lot when I was growing up.
Jackson 5, my parents. I wouldn't know nothing.
And she's the first lady of the church. Shout
out. Yes.
She was playing Purple Rain a lot.
You couldn't help but to love it.
And that's what you listen to. Prince, Whitney Houston.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
you need that. You need that. It's like you educating them so they'll know a wide variety of stuff. And there's some people that's out there, you got to let people know the music of all generations. That's how my parents did. They were just constantly listening to hit records from the Jackson 5 and, before that, Temptation. So when I started DJing, I knew these records. And then it's like, it wasn't that somebody just gave me this record's by Jackson 5 as a hit. I saw when I was a kid, like, oh man, they're going crazy this record. And I would hear it all the time. And when I started DJing, I'm like, yo, I need that record. I need this record. I need this record. You know what I'm saying?
I'm 45. How old are you?
Man, we gonna keep it on the drip, man. You don't entertain us. We don't tell that. We don't tell
45.
that. You don't tell that. I'm a young pimp still, but you know what I'm saying?
No, listen.
I'm riding this out till I'm 100.
Listen, nigga Jake. I say that because I know where era I come from with music. You know what I'm saying? You being a DJ, I know a lot of older people have an issue with the Sexy Reds, the Glorillaz. Like you breaking the records. The difference in music from back then to now, how do you feel about it?
It's different.
And I like Sexy Red.
Yeah, I do.
I ain't gonna front that joint. She dun 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 dun. Yeah,
that
joint is dope.
It's dope. It's like
I ain't gonna front.
Yeah, it's like some people just don't understand it. But you think about our parents when we were coming up. Let's just say when I was in middle school, I was listening to NWA.
Oh, that's
so
Appetite
then
for
my
Destruction.
dad, my dad used to say,
that
man,
was-
what's all that whoopity you listening to? And all that cussing and talking about them put a cap in. I'm like, that's what's hot. So it's the same thing now. It's like, and you got some people that live, they don't understand it because it is different. It'll never go back to what it was, but that's just what this generation likes. And if it's not for you, it's just not for you, but don't knock it. Just say, man, I don't understand it. But if you see them being successful, I see the Sexy Red being successful. I see the Glorrillas and everybody, Boss Man D-Lo's, all these guys that's coming up, little babies doing what he's doing. You just gotta applaud it. Now, when I tell people now, am I playing Sexy Red in my car? Every time I get in the car, no. But when I'm in them clubs, yes, I'm playing it. I'm right there with you. Get it sexy, all that stuff right there. You know what I'm saying?
How do you balance being a husband, father, music, life, job? How do you balance everything? Like where's it like you like, I got my daughter here, I got my wife here, I got the radio, I got this, I got that. How do DJ JQ just stay like focused and just like
Man, I probably just recently in the last 5 years
that's a real question.
Got it down.
Yeah.
At first, I was all over the place because think about it. Nobody gives you a playbook to be a parent.
That's a fact.
Our parents did. They made the mistake. Nobody gives you a playbook of life. You have to learn as you go. And you have people try to tell you, you need to do this way. You need to spend more time, da-da-da-da-da. And it goes into one ear. But that one person that comes to you, and it was my wife that when I got with her, she's like, look, you got to find some way to be able to do, and it wouldn't even bother her to do this, and this. But to do this, and this, you got to do this, and that. So a lot of time how I balance it, I start my day earlier. I'm up at 5 a.m.
Okay.
Pull myself together. I'm at the gym by 6.
Okay.
I stay about an hour and a half, 2 hours, shower, go to the radio station, do that, knock out all my stuff, and then I have time to, when I get off, I'm not staying late at work. Some days I'm staying late, but I get to go home, see my wife, I get to talk to my friends. A lot of times, the one thing I haven't figured out the balance is seeing my friends, and I don't have a whole lot of like friends. I'll say I got a lot of associates, but the friends, like my best friends, it's hard for me to see them. But we try to communicate as much as we can, via text and, meet up, sometimes at the club when I'm DJing and have those moments and stay. That's the only thing. But family time, like when my daughter has something or my son has something, I take off work, which I didn't used to do that before because I always thought I got to hustle, I got to make this money, take care of. And they were like, yo, man, we just want that time.
That's a fact.
And so I'll be like, yo, my daughter has she danced on dance team today. And I'm like, yo, I got to take off. I got to go see my daughter dance. And some people don't understand that, hey, man, that's important.
That's
to
real.
You got to understand it. So, the last 5 years of my life, that's when I got it down. I got it down now. I'm not perfect with it, but I got it down to a point where everybody's happy. Even
How old is your daughter's like 20-something, right? How's your daughter?
Yeah, just turned 22.
My daughter's 12. Like, and I just want to ask you because my daughter, she just want cash apps. That's all she want. Like for real. Like yo, she don't even ask for a cash app. She just sends the request. Like, you know how you could just send the request?
Yeah, my son does
Yo,
that.
she just sent the request.
My daughter doesn't do it. She just asks me for money.
My daughter just sent the request. I'm just a cash app Uber guy. But what's the most difficult part about raising a young lady? I want to hear.
When they're young, they love their dads and everything. The dad can do no wrong. When they're young, it's whatever hot toy is out for a little girl. Once they become teenagers, when they hit that 16 mark, then it's like you can't shop and buy them clothes.
I see that.
Like it.
I'm starting to see that.
And I may say I'm buying stuff for Christmas, and my daughter, I would buy something thinking she'll look good, and then I see these shoes. And thank you, Dad. Didn't find out till years later she never liked none of it.
I bought my daughter some New Balances for Christmas this year. She ain't even wear them yet. She said that's not her style.
Yeah. So you know what I started doing? Every birthdays, Christmases, I just give her cash.
Okay.
But what I do is my thing, so I can get into her head for the love that I have for her. I'm really good at picking out cards.
Okay.
And I'll stay in the store 30 minutes minimum, going through all the cards to see if the saying is how I would say it.
Okay.
And then I'll find that card, and the first day she'll read the card, do my mom the same way, and they just break down in tears. Then she turns the next page. Here's some cash. Thank you, Dad. we happy people.
What music do they listen to? Like, do they come to you with some stuff sometimes?
Yeah, my daughter loves Selena Gomez, Nicki Minaj. She likes Megan, but she's a big Nicki fan.
Okay.
She love and out of all of them, the top one out of all that is Taylor Swift.
Wow.
She's a Swiftie. She's the top of the list.
She said a Swiftie.
She a Swiftie. I don't know how
It's
she
a lot
didn't
of
get that from
Swifties.
me.
It's
She
a
didn't
lot
get
of
that from
Swifties.
me.
There's a lot of Swifties
A lot of Swiftie out there.
Like, I ain't gonna lie.
My son listened to everything, but the crazy thing, that's why I said, man, that's my son. My son, his favorite group is New Edition.
Wow.
And my son's only 14 years old.
Where he get that from?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, it went for me because that's my favorite group.
Okay.
That's my favorite group. I will fly
That's
anywhere
crazy,
and see
though.
them. So when they did the movie, the New Edition story on BET, he sat there one day, and it wasn't with me. I think he was at home, and he watched it. I don't know why, but he watched it and became like the biggest fan. And he started going back and watching old videos, old performances.
They're
So
dope.
what he would do, he would get his camera, and he would get the suits and the hats, and he would reenact every routine. Like, and he would show them to me. I'm like, this is crazy. It's like he knows all the things. To the fact, one day he asked me, it's like, Dad, why didn't you name me Michael Bivins?
Oh.
I'm like, what?
Michael-
What? I said, that ain't your last name. What are you talking about? Well, you can be Michael Bivins Hall. I'm like, come on, man. Because that was like his favorite one out of all of them because the business savvy.
He the intelligent one. He
Yeah,
the
yeah,
executive.
that was the
Shout
one.
out to Mike, man.
Yeah, so it was like, I think it was when they did their tour, the first tour where they all got back together, the first leg, and they came to Houston. Me and Biv were real cool. We actually, wasn't no forced fair relationship. We were leaving the event. We was at the airport, and we just chop it up. We've been cool ever since. So I had told him, like, yo, my son, I'm going to bring him to this concert.
That's
And he
cool.
was like, and he brought us backstage before they went, and he got to meet all the guys, and they were thinking, like, this little young kid does not know us. And he starts like, how you doing, Mr. Bobby, Mr. Ricky, Mr. Ralph? And and he was like, how does he know? I said, the show, the movie, the 3-part, and then he went and learned all the songs. When he used to do talent shows, he would do Poison, made his own version of it.
Them
So,
dudes
man,
is legends, though.
Yeah, man.
Like I was watching Instagram the other day, and the Bobby Brown video came on, and people don't understand how dope Bobby Brown was.
Bobby Brown was actually
Brown was like
the Chris Brown. Like Usher
Yeah,
does his
man.
thing, but if you look how Bobby moved,
Bobby
the way
was so
he
nice.
moved it was like crazy.
Yeah,
like
Bobby was so nice, man. He was like he's definitely forgotten about sometime in certain conversations when it comes down to like the legends.
yeah,
I think he always had so much going on that people forget
yeah.
how talented
Yeah,
he really
till you start, because if you're on Instagram,
He nice.
like how they got you, you don't even be looking for it, but they'll be having their show like old
Yeah.
clips from shows. A lot of stuff people be seeing, and they'll forward it to me because they know, like, man, I didn't know he danced like this.
Nah, he's the
he's
truth.
like crazy with it.
I'm gonna stay on the industry for a minute, man. With this Puff situation, and I don't want to go deep into the conversation. Look, you start laughing. Look, everybody start laughing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Puff. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like the world is too hard on him right now? Pause. Like, do you feel like it's like, I'm talking about the black culture in a sense, like how everybody's slamming him, and what I mean by that, like, cause you watching stuff, you reading stuff, and everybody been destroying him.
Yeah.
I want your take on that.
First of all, I've been a fan of Puff. I mean, it's a legend. I mean, he's created a label in music that's timeless. The only issue that I could say, I think a lot of people are harsh with situations. I think he made a misstep, coming out. I tell anybody this: if you know something could possibly come out that could hurt your character, don't go online and say all of this stuff is fabricated. I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And that's what hurt him the worst, And then when the video came out, you're like, oh my God. And so, yeah, the backlash is gonna. Am I one of them people that gets in comments? I don't get involved in that. I just like, I was like, damn. My question is why? What caused? It's a reason for everybody to do something. Doesn't make it right. Stuff people deal with. And I try to tell people that, and now in life, not condoning that. That was way over the top, but just how people act with people. It's always something happened in their childhood, or they something hits them that's like, oh, and it makes them actors. It's always a backstory. It could be drugs. It could be anything. I don't know that. I just hope that he can. First of all, I hope Cassie can heal, because I know that's a lot for a woman, and I'm big on protecting our women.
Nah,
Let me tell you, so I always
especially
say
when you
that.
got a daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm big on protecting
yeah.
women. Anytime you do something to a woman, I am on the woman's side. You know what I'm saying?
No
Until I
matter
find
what.
out they're lying. There's been some stuff that we seen that we knew that the woman was telling the truth, and they were getting backlash and stuff. So I just hope that going forward, he's just completely transparent, open, and honest. None of us are perfect, but it's going to be a long road of healing. You know what I'm saying? Long road of people to forgive, and some people may not forgive. We've seen certain artists to this day, they haven't forgotten for something that they did.
Nah, that's a fact. Hip hop. I always ask the legends this: do you feel like hip hop is at a place where it will never get back to where it once was, in a sense of like just like, I don't want to say, I don't want to be the old guy that be like hip hop has changed so much.
Yeah.
But do you feel like hip hop is not like it used to be, in a sense of like just that raw, independent, like original, like that style?
It's very different. I don't think, because what I've seen, I've been asking myself and other colleagues this for the last 3 years. I don't see it being what it was. It's definitely a new wave, but the problem.
I'm speaking more like the originality side.
Yeah, that's real. Because
I don't want to kill the young, because I love all the young guys.
Yeah, I love it. They
love
doing their
y'all.
thing.
Yeah,
they
love
making
y'all.
money.
Like, yeah,
they
I
making
love
money
it.
doing their thing.
Yeah.
But the certain sound, I think a lot of times, I'm not gonna say a majority, but some of the music doesn't stick for a long period of time.
That's true.
That's what the difference comes in. And when you find that the last 2 New Year's Eves, a lot of the DJs were like, yo, what we gonna play at midnight with no anthems? Those anthems, it was some cool moments, but anthems, them anthems that stuck around. Mm-hmm. So, it forced us to go, even now in the clubs, we're having to, with the records that are banging, that are from the new generation, we're having to surround that with records from the past. When I say past, 5 and 6 years ago, the Waka Flockas, the Old Futures, that we know that the club go there and just surround it and put the real blend together. At one time, you didn't think like, it was just like hit. Now you'd be like, this might work. This might work. With me, I play around. Oop, that didn't work. That worked. Oh, halfway. I'll bring that back. So, I don't think it'll be what it was. Like when you think about whatever generation you're from, we knew what as a kid, I saw what the 80s did. Growing up, I saw what the 90s did. I was right there, a part of the 2000s. I was right there in the middle of it. So, it's changed. It's different. It's just not for everybody. And that's what happens just from generation to generation.
I'm cool with that though. I love what the young hip hop heads are doing. Respect all of y'all, man. Keep it going. I'm not like one of them older guys that's like, yo, this is nah. Cause my daughter, when she get in the car, she listens to everything, and I listen to it.
Yeah.
Like I ain't got no other choice, and plus I want to hear it. Like, and it's interesting. Like, I be like, wow, and they're really listening to it, and some of the stuff is actually kind of.
You got some
dope.
guys out there that be saying
some dope stuff.
They're saying, and it might not. You have some guys that actually be spitting, but it may not be like club bangers.
Yeah.
Like I like Corday. Corday
is
nice with it. You know what I'm saying? I actually I really like Lil Baby and the Baby. I just like how their delivery is and how they spit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so definitely on that end.
What you think about the J. Cole Kendrick situation?
J. Cole Kendrick situation. Well, y'all know J. Cole bowed out before he got
bad. I'm sorry. I meant the Drake situation.
Oh man, it was just.
Shout out to J. Cole. He bowed. I was gonna ask you that too, though. How you feel about him bowing out? But
I understood what it was before it was. I'm a big reader.
Streets was bad though. The Streets was bad. Like Jay, why you do that, Jay? Why you do that, Jay?
But Streets came back and hey, we bring back that comment.
Yeah.
I knew from the jump what it was because I'm always reading power books. I'm a big reader of 48 Laws of Power, the 50th Law of Power. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of laws in that. Kendrick reads that. So when it started to happen, I was like, uh-oh. It's about to go down. And then when J. Cole did his verse, and then he knew what was about to happen. He knew that it was going to be some personal stuff put out and all of this on records. And somebody went to him and told him, hey, man, this is about to get bad. You might not want to party because this really ain't got nothing to do with you, really. And he did. He said, man, I'm about this thing. And that was the smartest move he could have did because guys came back when it got deep. Everybody said, oh yeah, I ain't mad at you no more for jumping out of
Okay.
this because it got
got
you know. And then
yeah.
everybody was like, I made money off that beef because I was betting dudes because you know. Drake did what he did. Kendrick did. They was just going back and forth. And Kendrick records were real melodic, taking old school samples, but he was spitting. But you had to listen.
Mm-hmm.
You could. It wasn't one of them records that was gonna pop. You had to go back and be like, well, now when what did he mean when
Kendrick
he
is
said this?
spitter, though.
Oh,
Yeah, he make
he
you
said
think.
this with Drake records. You know what he's saying right off the bat.
Yeah.
So then they were like, me and Lil Kiki had this conversation. He was like, you know, in Houston, we like to have, you know, if it's gonna we want to hear that bounce. We want to hear that beat. I said, oh, he coming with it. He's like, nah. Next thing I know, 2 weeks later, I see dead people. And then when I heard mustard on the beat, I said, ooh. And I listened to I said, ooh. Now, this will be the first. And sometimes you got to take a battle. You got to take your L's. It was competitive. Think about all the Drake diss records that he slaughtered people on. This was just his time. And, you know, hey, somebody got you. You got the best of you. You got to tell you. Because everywhere I go, that record is going crazy. Man, crazy. I was in Vegas DJing, and I expected it because I was on the West. Then when I got back home, and I hadn't dropped the record yet, I seen another DJ dropping. Everybody was up in there. They hear that like us and Ovi. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, see, boom. And I know there's some clubs out here that are real close to Drake. I haven't asked none of the DJs, do y'all play that record in there? They'll say this because, you know, some people are like, man, that's my boy. You know, that's my boy. You know, and I feel him because if that was my dude, and then we like that, I'd be like, man, don't play that record up in there. But, you know, you got to play for the people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad it didn't escalate into any violence. That was my only worry because not from them, from the fans.
Yeah.
Sometimes fans can get, and
Outsiders.
just, it's just competitive people going at each other. And, you know, you had the few incidents where some stuff did happen. Some people got shot. And I wasn't there, but I know sometimes, you know, fans and just misconceptions about what it's really about can overpower some good just records, just being on record and going back and forth, showing your versatility, you know?
How important is the DJ, though? I know I've been to multiple parties, and sometimes the DJ was whack. And I'm like, yo, you know, you chilling with a girl, you go there, you trying to do something with her later, and she like, the DJ here sucks. It totally changes the whole vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
So how important is the DJ?
The DJ is a very important piece of every club.
They could mess up your night. DJ mess up your night.
And, you know, I was fortunate enough to have some great mentors as far as DJing. Even when I was at A&M, you know, I had the Steve Nices and the Walter D's and the GTs, the Def Jam Blasters that were hands-on mentoring me. And then I got to watch guys like Kid Capri, DJ Premier when he was going to Prairie View. You know,
said Premier?
Yeah, Premier. Yeah, he was going to PV.
Hold on one second. Y'all know who DJ Premier is? Hold on. I'm going to ask them in the... You know who DJ Premier is? Y'all sure?
And then sometimes when people, when you
He's a
say the
legend.
name, if they don't know the name, I say, for a majority of years, he was always the DJ on the BET Hip Hop Awards in the Cypher DJing for everybody.
Okay.
They be like, that's him. And a lot of people remember because they say Houston,
Legend.
Texas. And they like,
I ain't
who
think
is
you knew
this
that, T. I ain't think you knew that, but he a legend. Gangstar, DeWitt.
Yeah.
DeWitt, one of the
guy?
best beats.
One of the top producers out there.
Definitely.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, you gotta, you know, when you learn, you gotta learn. You like a quarterback. Like I try to Tom Brady every gig. First of all, I'm DJing for the people. I don't DJ for promoters. I don't DJ for club. I DJ for the people. It's about people reaction. Some people don't like that. They want you to play what they want you to play. I play for the people. And if that's don't like it, and right now I'm at a place I can pick and choose where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's like some people don't know how to read the room. I see some guys or girls, they looking down. They're not even looking at the crowd. You got to know when to get into a record and get out of it and go to the next one. Some things are speed, and that's just a skill set. And I think now people egos where they don't want to ask, man, how do I sound? Or they can't handle constructive criticism, you know, to take them to the next level. And I try to tell, you know, certain guys come to me, guys or girls, they're the DJs, and they ask me for advice, which I love. And I kind of tell them some of the mistakes I've made in the past with DJing. And, you know, my whole thing is I want to see them elevate to the next level where they're traveling and DJing. I think that's important because you can be put in a box just staying here in Houston, just like with an artist. You know what I'm saying? To get that respect, you got to move around. You move around the city to city, you know, and all that good stuff. It's at a point now where people were putting DJs on the flyers, and if that was your favorite, you'd be like, I'm going to see him now. a lot of clubs, I don't know who started. They won't even put the DJs on the flyer. DJs making their own flyers, but then you expect them to go in there and do some superstar status stuff, but you're not treating them like superstars.
That's a fact.
And every DJ is a superstar in my book now. So yes, and I think everything is personal opinion. You go to some clubs and the vibe may not be for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you'll be like, man, I don't really like the vibe. It just could be the club what they're sticking to. You got some clubs that just do R&B. You got some clubs that are ratchet. You got some clubs that take throwbacks. You got open format club. You just got to know where you're at and how to. If you only know how to DJ at a ratchet club and then you put in an open format spot, you can fail tremendously because those people only know commercial hit records.
That's a fact.
From every genre. And if you don't study that, you put yourself in the box. That person only does ratchet. This person, I can DJ ratchet, old school, EDM, Hispanic, open format. I'm deep down, like I love open format gigs because I can play everything. I can go in the bag and DJ.
Let me ask you this. I always thought about this question. Who's an artist that you could play in every setting, no matter where you at? If you a DJ, and you know, some people say you could play Drake here, you could play Future here, but who's an artist you could probably play in any type of setting?
Drake.
Okay.
Drake has a song for every kind of thing. He has a.
You know what I mean by that instance, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You could drop him anywhere.
You might not be able to drop
the white people.
Yeah.
The Asian
you might not be able to drop Sexy Red at the Verizon Wireless event, Christmas party.
Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
But you can't go wrong with Drake. Drake is loved by all, and it's some others, but off the dome, he makes records for every genre.
Birthday party.
Yeah.
Bar mitzvah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's in there.
Yo, how did you and 50 become so cool?
The short is a long story. I'm gonna shorten it up.
Shout out to Fit. We need you on the show too, man.
Yeah, it's like when I first when I started working at 979. I was still entry level. He came in. This when Get Rich or Die Trying was out. Met him. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Year or two later, I'm in Miami for an event. I'm at an Interscope party. He's there. I'm off in the corner. Sometimes I could be an introvert. Sometimes, like I'll be away from everybody when I'm not DJing. And you know, he had one of his guys come up to me and say, "Hey man, don't you work in Houston?" He said, "Yeah." Man, Fifth say, "Why you acting in Hollywood?" I said, "What you talking about?" So I come over there and he's like, "Yo man," they said, Q, right? I said, "Yeah, JQ." He said, "Yeah, I knew." Man, what's up, man? What you doing out here? I said, "Oh, man, you know, I'm out here for the weekend for the event." He said, "Oh, okay, good seeing you." And it's crazy. I learned that he remembers if you made a good impression on him, he remembers. So it kind of went from that. Fast forward, we've seen each other a few times. We got mutual friends and stuff. And his first venture into liquor was F and Vodka. And he was putting a team together at that time. I think Diddy, whatever he was doing with the Ciroc Boys, they weren't happy, and Fifth was grabbing the guys that with the Ciroc Boys and people from other markets, and he was like, "Yo, I want to have representation in Houston," and he knew I was ACL. I want to get Q on, and did that with him. He ended up having a fallout with FN, and they bought him out. And I remember I was in New York at Summer Jam, and I went to his office, and he was like, and it was crazy. I had just had TV Johnny make me this effing mall, because that was what he called the crew, the effing mall. I had made this chain, and I go in the office and, "Yeah, man.
Get rid of that.
In 2 weeks, we ain't going to have that no more." I said, "What?" He said, "But wait, I got something coming. I own it. It's mine." And so, boom, he said, "Just hang tight." He's like, "I know some people gonna try to come at you when this story come out," which was true. It's like I really hustled with the F and Vodka, so I had liquor companies that I had tried to get with. All of a sudden, that would kind of they were like, "Yo, I hear 50, da 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 da." Even they tried to get me on with Ciroc, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good." Well, he ain't doing that. I said, "I'm waiting on it. It's about the loyalty thing." And then at the same time, before that, Fifth's the first person to put me on television.
Okay.
When he had BET's 50 Central. He flew me in. I was supposed to do only 2 episodes and ended up doing 5 because I killed it. And you know, to do that, man, I'm big. And what's one thing he realized about me? I'm not no groupie guy. He likes me because I'm funny and I'm loyal. And if I mess with you, then I'm loyal to you. You can't sway me away with money. You know, people like, "Yo, I got this money." I'm like, "Nah. We good." He put out the Branson Cognac, and we have a business relationship, and we also have a friendship too, and there's a lot of respect for each other. Like when we get around, like some people just think that me and we just talk all the time, and we don't. When we see each other, it's like, "Man, what's up, Pimp?" I never asked him for his number. I know he's like, why don't you? Some people like, why don't you fit? I said, I've never asked. I told him one time. I know we was tipsy in the club. I was like, man, I don't want your number. He's like, I said, I know how to get in touch with you if I need to. I said, but I don't want to have that kind of access. You know what I'm saying? He's like, because I don't ever want to make a misstep. I don't believe it. He's like, damn, that's some realest stuff I ever heard. We in the club talking, we just sipping and just having fun. But you know, he looks out for me, man. Even during the pandemic, he really looked out for me and a lot of the guys that are with the King's Path crew. So, you know, it's always going to be, I always got love for him. I help him with anything that he needs me. His people be like, hey, we got this, like we was in Louisiana for the G Unit Studios.
I seen y'all.
Yeah, so it's like, yo, we going to be down closer your way. I'm like, I'm there. You know, when he says or anybody from the camp say they need me, I'm there. And no questions asked. You know what I'm saying? That's a relationship that just naturally just happened. It wasn't force fed. Every relationship I have with an artist has never been force fed. I kind of sit back and let it organically happen. You know what I'm saying? Because then it becomes real.
Yeah. That's a fact. This Say World Podcast, we got DJ JQ on the check-in. This was dope. But before I get you up out of here, man, this is a special part of the show. It's called Say the Word.
Say the word.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to ask you a couple questions. You got to give me your honest answer.
Wow.
First question is, New Edition or Boys to Men?
New Edition.
Monica or Brandy?
Brandy.
Kobe or Jordan?
Jordan.
LeBron or Magic Johnson?
LeBron.
Kyrie or AI?
AI.
Prince or Michael Jackson?
Ooh, I got to go with Mike.
It's the last one. Too Short or E40?
Too Short.
I thought you was going to say E40. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. My guy, let them know what time. Is there anything else you want to say?
Hey, man, I just appreciate you, man, bringing me in on the platform, man. You know, I think I love what you're doing when you reached out to me. I had actually seen some of your work but never met you, so I was really honored when you actually, you know, tapped in. I hate that you had to go through 10 to 15 people that never contacted me. As soon as you said it, I responded back like, done, when we want to do it. It's like, let's make it happen out here. But
I don't know why people be doing that. People be acting like, listen, I'm a fly, big nose New Yorker, right?
Yeah.
Straight up. So, like, I just don't, like, if you can't do something, you can't do it.
I'm telling you,
you ain't even got to even tell me, like, I'm going to make it happen. That's cool. Like, I reach out to you, and you reach right back out to me.
Yeah, it's like I always tell people, hit me directly, man. I don't have no
I would have been reached out to you. I didn't reach out to you because everybody was like, I'm going to take care of him. I was like, cool, son. Handle your
You know, I think a lot of times people get busy, and it's not important to them. It's important to you. So if it's important to you, you got to bypass the middleman and get right to the man. I deal directly with everybody. I don't have nobody that handles my stuff.
Man.
You know, I got managers that do stuff about money, but everything has to come through me and get approved. But it's like, for the most part, I do everything myself. People say they need me. Like, let's run it. As long as you got something real that's going on, then any way I can help out with it and, you know, be a part of someone's dream, man, because that's what happened with me. You know, people came in on my dream and made my dream become a reality, and I'm still dreaming. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's what it is. It's Say Word, man. We up out of here. Peace out.
The fastest growing podcast up in the world right now, you know. Say word. OnlyFans, real estate, talking in fashion, let them know what's happening.